If you feel like you were born with a weak sense of taste, I've got really good news. You can improve it intentionally. It might sound a little crazy, but our brains and our senses are actually very plastic. We can improve them with a little bit of focus and concentration. That's the really cool thing about being human, right? Like that which we focus on grows. So you can take a sense that you maybe think might not be very strong and actually make it stronger. Of course, some people are born with stronger and weaker senses of taste, but it's not a liability, and I'm going to show you how to fix it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the lie of the taste zones. Like we all remember from grade school when you had the diagram of the tongue, and like there was supposed to be like sweet on the tip or like salty on the sides or whatever it was. Like it's actually a lie. You have taste buds all over your mouth and all over your tongue, and they can all taste everything. Some of them are more sensitive to, some flavors than others, but if you cut off the tip of your tongue, like you'll still be able to taste the sweetness in ice cream, even though those little diagrams told you that that was the only sweet zone on your tongue. The number one most important rule when learning to improve your sense of taste is to taste everything. Like I know, like we're raised in very specific food cultures and some things are weird and some things are like not normal, but that doesn't make a difference. Like your point in learning to taste is to improve your taste memory. If you want to improve your taste memory, the only way to do that is to taste everything. Even the things you think are weird, even the things you think are maybe kind of gross. I'm not talking about tasting eyeballs. But if you have like a type of herb out there that you're not familiar with, don't like shy away from it because it's not familiar. Actually taste it. When you taste it, like really think about what you're tasting because you want to cement that memory. Cementing that taste memory is what's going to improve your overall sense of taste. As all of those memories pile up in your brain, you're going to suddenly find yourself being able to like pick out nuanced flavors and things that you smell and taste. You're going to be able to walk down the street and think, I smell chicken stock, or I smell tomato sauce, or I smell basil, I smell parsley, I smell cinnamon with a hint of nutmeg. And being able to walk around or smell things with like that kind of freedom feels really good. The second most important factor in learning to improve your sense of taste is to taste with intention. Sounds kind of funny, sounds kind of like poofy woo-woo, whatever. But the reality is that which you focus on grows. The more you pay attention to something, the more sharpened, the more important it becomes to your brain. Like when you're paying attention to something and you're focusing on it, your brain is actually remapping pathways to make that sense or whatever it is you're thinking about stronger and easier to go to in the future. So when I say taste with intention, it means every time you taste something, pause. Really think about it. Don't just like eat it, swallow it, it's done. Like put it in your mouth. Really think about it. Let it kind of move around your mouth, let it move over your tongue. Don't swallow it, just kind of chew it up and let it sit there and really think about what you're tasting. The longer it's in your mouth, the more you're going to start to notice. Like if you eat a chocolate chip cookie, you're going to taste cookie. And then a few minutes later, you're going to taste maybe the bittersweet chocolates and the chocolate chip. And you're going to taste that sea salt that they sprinkled over to the top. And you're going to start to taste like the brown sugar, not just like sweet sugar, but like those caramely brown sugar notes in the cookie. And you're going to notice like the really interesting astringent flavor of the walnuts. Like those are all the crazy complex things going on in a chocolate chip cookie that you probably never would have noticed unless you had paused to really think about it. Another really important factor with food is temperature matters. So flavors are fat soluble. And as you know, most fats are solid when they're cold and they're more liquid at room temperature or when they're warm. So if flavors are fat soluble and you eat something that's like kind of chilled a little bit, like a cold piece of cake or, ice cream actually is a really good example, those flavors aren't going to be as pronounced. And that goes for cold meat, that goes for all sorts of different things. If you're eating things that are warm, those flavors are going to be more available to your palate because that fat is free flowing to kind of move over your palate, move over your taste buds, and the compounds in those flavors moving through that fat will be more available to your system. You can actually use this knowledge to your advantage. So if you're making ice cream and you know it's going to be cold, you want to bump up the flavor on it because it's not going to be nearly as flavorful when it's frozen as it was when you were actually cooking down the ice cream base. Same goes for foods that you're going to serve hot. If you're eating it cold and it's already really flavorful and a little too much, it's probably going to be even more flavorful and intense once you heat it up. So with that little bit of knowledge, you can actually adjust the flavoring on your foods for the perfect end result.